Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto Qualifier, as we are getting ready for our first semifinals. And just like in a lot of the tournaments we've casted lately, Nate, the semifinals are the real finals of today. If you win your semifinals, you qualify for the main event. And we are about to jump into our first TvT between MajOr and Polt. MajOr so far had to go through a Zerg, through a Protoss. Now he's going to go up against Polt. Could be the biggest hurdle to take yet, but he's been looking really good today.
Yeah, Polt's pretty clearly the big favorite in this overall bracket. I don't think there's anybody here that Polt's particularly worried about facing off against. Maybe Scarlet, who's had his number, here and there a couple times. But and Terran versus Terran, Polt is going to be strong. And we've actually seen Polt versus MajOr quite a few times in other North American region locked qualifiers. So let's just see what's going to happen, guys. It's a best of 5 winner goes to the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto. And we're going to kick it off on Deadwing with our first player in the bottom right. In the blue Terran, representing Cooler Master Storm, he is Polt.
Polt. We asked him in the past if he wants us to use an American flag or a Korean flag, but he specifically told us, he's like, oh no, Korean please. So he still feels very Korean, despite spending a lot of time over here, as he used to live in Texas and he's now currently living in Atlanta. Going up against our Terran, who I believe is living in Guadalajara. Not sure how to pronounce it exactly, but I think I did an okay job.
I think Guadalajara is good.
Yep. He's a red Terran representing Root for Root, hailing from Mexico. It is MajOr. And my flag is way off. I missed the button. Sorry, guys. There we go. Fixed. Fonka's at home. Fonka's facepalming. He's like, see? And this is why observers are really, really important.
And he's at the after party with Todd missing you. That was a hashtag IEM tweet.
Yeah, they just... I saw a couple of the tweets from the boys. They're in Meltdown right now, I believe.
I guess actually they are watching this, now that I think about it. Shout out to you guys being up so late in Europe watching StarCraft still.
Shout out to Litat.
StarCraft tournament's over? Well, guess it's time to watch another StarCraft tournament.
Yep. And tomorrow there's another StarCraft tournament, as WCS America is tomorrow as well. I'd love to encourage everybody who's currently watching the stream. If you don't watch the WCS America very often, you want to watch it tomorrow, as tomorrow is going to be a great group. We have Polt, we have Sejong, we have Maxset, and is it Oz? Who's the 4th player?
Polt, Sejong, Maxset, and...
I think it's Oz.
Now I've just completely... I think so. I've completely... It was because you asked me that I've forgotten now.
Alrighty. Either way, tomorrow is a great group. Dubbed by many as the group of death of WCS America round of 32. Anyways, this should be a really good TvT series. We had the pleasure of seeing MajOr go up against Polt multiple times over the last few months. And in general, Nate, yes, Polt wins the majority of the time. But if anyone has been giving him a very good run for his money other than Scarlet, it has been MajOr in the North American scene so far.
Yep, I completely agree. And some other brackets, updates in the lower bracket. Fog defeated Xenocider 2-1. Not super surprised. Fog plays a pretty tough style, I think, for standard Terran players to play against, like Xenocider. But for this game so far, everything's looking pretty close between the two of them.
This is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was confused there. For a second, I thought that the Reaper was a different color. I was like...
And if that was Polt's Reaper, that would have been ugly.
Yeah, that would have been very gnarly. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Polt does have 2 Reapers though, and it could still be a little gnarly, Nate. If this one Reaper gets Adventurers of MajOr.
Yeah, if that Reaper gets caught out, then you're kind of stuck. But it really just comes down to keeping the Marines with him. Like, he should be okay to defend against this. Ideally, he doesn't want to trade.
Good shot there, though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to trade his hit points with the Reaper of MajOr. He wants to kill those Marines. And
he's doing a really good job.
Quite low.
Polt is doing a really good job so far.
Yeah, this is nice.
Even though he's probably not able to push the issue over here. He's getting a lot of unanswered damage out. His Reapers will regenerate. He's gonna pick off the first Marine now, I think. It's careful. You have to be so careful with right-clicking, because if your Reapers follow one moment too far, they take a couple of volleys from Marines and they will immediately fall.
Yeah.
MajOr sending his Reaper across the map. In a very
he's sending it to the other side because he wants to scout. He's like, oh, okay, if your Reapers are on the map, then I can probably get into your base without too much trouble. Of course, there's some Hellions coming out, but even they take a little while to kill Reapers.
Yeah, there are 2 Hellions on the way. Actually, just a single Hellion. No, he already has 1 Hellion. Where's Polt's Hellion? There we go. He just built them at different moments. Alright, so if everything is very, very even and standard so far on either side. MajOr's opposite in supply a little bit. This Reaper is being annoying, idling below the starport. And now Polt's actually gonna fake him out. He's like, you think you're slowing down my Banshees? You're not, because I don't even want to make Banshees.
Yeah, I mean, Polt almost always goes for bio in this matchup either way, so just getting his stim a little bit quicker, I'm sure, isn't gonna rustle him too much. As MajOr does, he is known to have a propensity for mech-based play in this matchup. However, could
I
still
would
go either way
say
on his part as well.
if we see MajOr play mech in this series, and this is one of the maps where I think it's most likely.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so easy to get your
skew
forward base
four
set up.
bases. It's like,
Yeah.
like you start off on 4 bases. We do see Rex number 2 and 3 go down for Polt, so that's not a shocker. On the other side of the map for MajOr, we don't see anything like that yet. And the fact that he hasn't taken his tech lab next to his barracks gives me the idea that we indeed might see some mech action. Either way, he's going to try to make something happen. Bonka finishes up just in time, but MajOr is just going to ignore it.
I love this attack from MajOr. He wants to use the number of units he has, use these Marines and that medevacs mobility to just elevate himself to a whole other level.
He could go for the bunker, I think.
Yeah, he really wants that Viking. That Viking be quite a prize. Losing the medevac is frustrating.
Just go for the bunker. Like, if the bunker is getting repaired, then the Hellions can kill all the SCVs. 2 more Hellions coming in from the north side. They get a couple of juicy shots off. This is really where he has to go for all the SCVs.
Yeah, now he's just going to pick off workers left and right. That command
Orbital.
center! Your command center, dude,
Marines.
you need that. That's a very expensive, important building.
The Marines should just...
Yeah.
Alright, well, these
the
SCVs
Marines
will all
just focus
die.
on this command center, or he just kills the bunker outright. Well, now there's the tanks. It's a little bit more difficult.
Still, though, job well done.
Yeah, I think that was everything that MajOr was looking for and more, to be honest.
One more Hellion cruises by straight into his own death.
He killed 12 workers. He delayed the natural from being able to produce SCVs. He delayed from being able to mule. He's up 12 SCVs right now. And he's got Cloak on the way. The Banshee has a Viking and a Raven. And right now, Polt can't really get aggressive because all he has are Hellions. And, well, that's also what MajOr has.
Yep.
Just got more.
Just a few more. Polt only has 4 Hellions. He does have 2 siege tanks, but it's going to be very, very hard to ever move out. It's very easy for Hellions to flank siege tanks if they're in overwhelming numbers. Tanks are obviously fantastic against siege tanks, but there are these weird scenarios. If they're a little bit exposed and all the Hellions just get real close, they can suddenly take them out pretty fast as well.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting position for MajOr because some of his upgrades are a little bit later. But like this blue flame that's on the way, for example, right? He's actually building 3 Hellions. He could end up just going for like maybe 1 or 2 tanks, and if that Banshee kills a tank or something like that, he could end up just doing like a huge transformation servos attack, like just get his armory, turn all those Hellions into Hellbats, like a few tanks, and just try to crush a weakened Polt.
Like, I think it's already hard for the bio player to find openings against a meching Terran. Like, if they're very good, it's hard to find openings. It becomes extremely difficult if you're actually down 15 workers and your real mech army or your real bio army is going to be so much later to the party than it normally is. So I think here in game number 1 of Deadwing, well, we did get a nice tweet in from Casalentek, who's apparently a big MajOr fan. Well, it's nice to have you here, buddy. I always struggle so much with Twitter nicknames, with Twitch nicknames. Like, I have no idea. Twitch usernames.
Just
like
like that. I got wrecked by that PB78126 guy or whatever.
Yeah.
I still remember exactly what numbers are in there.
38713.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I can't handle it, man.
Dude can't handle it. Cloak Bench from MajOr is doing a little bit of work as well on the south side of the map. Love to bait out a scan. Polt's not going to fall for it. However, this bench is already doing more than I think most Terrans could hope for against Polt. He gets 1 more SCV right before the missile turret is done. Now he gets a second SCV as well. The missile turret will finally finish up, but not before. There's a Cloak Banshee in the main as well doing some work. MajOr is just picking Polt apart so far. Beautiful TvT by him.
Yep, this is really nice by MajOr. And my biggest concern is, as a Terran, when you're playing bio up against mech, at this point in the game, you should be up about 20 to 30 supply, depending on how well you've macroed. Being behind almost 40 supply, yeah, it's a lot in Hellions, but eventually Hellions can reach a critical mass where you're just going to overwhelm and roast and toast.
Did you see how fast these Hellions were? That's really weird. They were like smooth. They were really smooth because they were on follow. Either way, all these blue flame Hellions are just going to jump on top of this
there's just
army.
so many Hellions, and with the tank support, with the Banshee support, he's going to roll this army of Polt. It's like, yeah, bio can trade effectively, but he's still going to clean up the whole army and still be 30 supply ahead.
That was actually pretty much the worst engagement that MajOr could have got there, and it's still more than good enough because he's still so far ahead.
Well,
he's still up 14
he
workers.
literally traded just minerals for a ton of gas. He killed all the tanks, he killed all the Marauders, and at this point now, MajOr has the choice he has the option to attack, but He's so comfortably ahead. He can just very easily just secure his third, get his macro going. And I mean, I don't know when the last time he sent a unit over to Polt's side of the map was, but Polt still not having taken his third base. Like, MajOr couldn't be happier. Like, the fact that Polt's just now moving that command center over, as a Terran, you're supposed to be just ahead. You're supposed to be like 1 or 2 steps ahead of your opponent when you're playing Bio versus Mech. That's just not happening this game. No. MajOr is just dominating in every possible way.
That early push by MajOr was so good with the medevac and with all these Hellions, and I think from that point on, of course, you know, there's a lot of surface area in the nature of Deadwing, so it's very cool to see him bust out a build like this, see him go for an opening like that. Polt doesn't want to leave just yet, because Polt is indeed the comeback king in TvT, but...
Yeah, TvT, more than I think ever before in StarCraft 2, the current metagame, it's all about your openings. It is all about setting yourself up with the opening. It's not as much about what your mid-game or late-game plan is. Like, if you get the right opening, you can secure yourself such a good position that you're going to be like MajOr right now. You're going to be super happy, be like, okay, as long as I don't make some huge, catastrophic mistake, there's really no way I should be able to lose. And I don't think there's any way that MajOr can lose unless he makes a serious mistake.
The only bad thing about Mech is that it's, of course, kind of hard to really push your advantage after a certain phase in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
So he is giving Polt a little bit of time to slowly but steady crawl back up and actually get an army going for himself. Now, MajOr knows this as well, and he moves out way before I think he would normally ever move out. But of course, he knows how this game is played out as well. He knows what Polt can potentially have in this phase in the game.
The number one way that MajOr loses this game, I think this little Hellbat dropped, but the number one way MajOr loses this game is, this is the medevac too, is if he gets his tanks caught in siege. Like, that's really it. If the Bio, even if he's down on supply, if his Marines and Marauders can fan out, spread out, get a good concave, and then hit tanks as they're sieging, Polt can actually still he can swing 60 supply in a matter of seconds and actually take this game. But that requires, like I said, a very serious error for MajOr. Like, MajOr's just dropping scans left and right in the midst of all of this because he just wants to know where Polt's army is.
All these SCVs were just running straight into Hellbats. You're right, of course, and we already said this before, it's very easy to secure 4 bases on this map. And if you give Polt 4 bases, he's always capable of making any sort of comeback. Right now, he's actually not even down that far in supply anymore. So he's definitely been doing a good job in catching up. He really didn't take any damage at all from these Hellbat drops. Cloak Banshee is going to be very frustrating. It's still going to be really difficult for Polt to ever decide to stim in. I don't think he can. There's a good tank spread and there's a very good number of tanks above all.
Yep, and the thing is, these tanks are actually getting to the point where I like that he's saving his energy on his Ravens, but he could actually throw down like a point defense drone and try to attack. Oh, he's going to move in because his tanks are in range. Banshee comes up, tries to snipe a tank, not quite there, but kills the sensor tower.
Can still get that one tank.
Nice. It's the last hit, and he's, looks like he's getting ready for Hellion Drive. I look at this counter drop Polt. He recognizes, he's like, yeah, I can't engage that army, so I'm just not going to engage it. And MajOr's going to be like, MajOr has to be asking himself, where's the rest of your army? He could A-move this force into him.
If it's comeback time, it's going to start right now. MajOr is maxed out. Polt is still at 169 supply. He's 1-1 bio upgrades, +2 are on the way. He will be able to get this fort base. He could have perhaps get a couple of tanks. Yes, he will get 2 tanks over here, Nate.
Yeah, this is so important for Polt. He will have his third base pushed back. He has there's a potential that he could actually kill off that commander. I love Widow Mines in this situation. Widow Mines are such a smart move. They detonate on some of the splash damage, might hurt the tanks, but it just gives a slightly more sustainable way to try to just knock out those units very low count.
As well.
That Thor is targeting the medevacs first.
And at the same Widow Mine as well. And at the same time, MajOr is just steamrolling all over the only defenses that were left on this side of the map for Polt. I think MajOr has done it, Nate. I think MajOr is going to pick up game number 1 off the back of a very, very strong Marine Hellion medevac opening.
Yep, them fast Marine Hellion plays are super popular right now in Terran versus Terran, and MajOr utilized it to just great success. And I don't think that there's any way that Polt can really bring this back. I've said it before about Polt, and I've been wrong before, but I think in this situation, MajOr is too good of a player to allow Polt to just come back in a match like this. He's on 1 base.
I believe in a thing called Mule, but not if it's only in your main and it's mined out.
It's like mules aren't very good when there's no mineral patches in your base left.
Polt is going to go for his final hold over here. He's going to stim forward, but he knows he doesn't have enough bio units to work with. And our Mexican Terran player MajOr is going to take a 1-0 lead over Polt. Alrighty.
Really impressive. Like I said, the opening dictated a lot of what happened in that game. It's not necessarily that there was some, it's not like there was some sort of like, oh, Major did something revolutionary. He just had a big lead, and it can be easy to throw away leads like that. Don't get me wrong. It's still impressive play by Major across the board because we've seen Polt make comebacks from worse positions against better players, but still, really good game from both.
Yeah, no, this is excellent opening by Major. I thought he could have jumped on the bunker a little quicker. Like, I know bunkers are scary, especially with SCVs around them, and after he lost the medevac, he couldn't, of course, heal his Marines anymore. But I still think if he would have just attacked the bunker with Hellions and Marines, because the Hellions are going to splash anyway, so they will still kill the SCVs. Then he gets the Marines that are in the bunker. I think he could have even potentially got the Orbital Command, because it was starting to run really low on HP.
Yeah,
but in the end,
I
it was
agree.
still good.
The other thing is, at first, that bunker only had the 2 Marines, and I think he had SCVs in it for a couple seconds, but he did bring the Reapers back. So when he tried to attack the bunker at the very end, the 2 Reapers were there, and they actually helped out a lot, I think, with cleaning up that forest. So, I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at it, but the most important part is that Major's early attack got what he was looking for from it, and I'm excited to see next map, King Sejong Station. I'm excited to see what Major breaks out again, because I feel like one of the best ways to play against a player like Polt, he's not going to make mistakes in a macro game. Try to knock him off kilter, because Major knows all those scary builds that the Korean Terrans use in Pro League, that they use in the GSL, and this is just one of those times where got to try to get yourself an early lead. TvT is all about those openings nowadays.
We've seen a couple of interesting openings in this map as well. I wouldn't even necessarily say openings, because often it is, one goes Banshee, one goes Raven, yada, yada, yada. We look at each other, not too much happens. Maybe a few SVs here and there. But I really like the counterattacks on this map, where you can get the tanks on the right side of the debris if you attack the south side of this map. And then the tanks can get in range of your refinery, of your mineral line, just a single tank. I actually think that's one of the coolest things about TvT on this map, that you pretty much need map vision of the middle of the map at all time, because if you don't see tanks roll across the map, by the time it sees up, it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, that's another good point. We have a couple small updates. Suppy currently up 1-0 against Puck.
I find that very impressive, actually. I think that's not something I would have called, Nate.
Considering that Puck took almost took that series versus Scarlet, Suppy, I wouldn't rate. I like Suppy, but I wouldn't rate him quite as high as Scarlet. And Puck's PVZ has always been really good, so that's impressive. I really want to remind you guys, of course, this series here, this Terran vs. Terran, is a best of 5. So it's first to 3 map wins. Major, he's up 1-0. He needs to win 2 more games. Polt could very easily swing this series back. Major needs to keep the ball rolling.
How many games did they play at the Red Bull Battlegrounds North America? I know they played at least once, right?
They played in the actual North American event, yes. They played in the qualifier as well. They played in the qualifier twice, I think.
Yes.
And then I think they actually played in another qualifier for maybe global, or it might have been the Detroit flight ticket paid one. Like, they actually played against each other quite a few times.
And the games often seem to just get better and better. They had a very good game on Habitation Station not too long ago. Major often takes maps off Polt, but it's been a while since he closed out the series, but we know that he's capable of doing so. Will he do it today and qualify for the Intel Extreme Masters in Canada? Well, we'll know in maximum 4 games, but it could also be in 2, as he is currently up 1-0 in our best of 5, and he's, of course, the Red Terran player representing Root for Root. Juanito. Windy, and a Prosser, Quantic Flow. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
Princess. I keep forgetting Princess.
I'm sure he's probably got like 5 other Smurf accounts we haven't even heard of yet. He's like, it was actually just a game the whole time, turns out.
Over here on the right bottom side of the map, we have the Korean Terran player currently living in Atlanta, Georgia, representing Coolum as the Storm. He wins most of the American tournaments, and will he be able to do it once again? It is Polt. Polt will also be playing later this week in the Battlegrounds Global Challenger Series. It's an event that's happening here in Santa Monica, Southern California. 6 of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world have qualified for that event. It's going to be a blast. We have Solar, we have Dongray, Gu, CJ Entis, Hero, Polt, Symbol? No, not Symbol.
It's, well, there's...
Impact.
Yeah.
Impact, and I feel like I forgot one.
So, we got Solar, CJ Hero...
I forgot a Zerg. There are 4 Zergs. Dongray, Gu,
CJ Hydra. There were 2 CJ
Hydra.
players.
Yeah, Hydra is the one I forgot. So those 6 players will be coming out to Southern California this week. And Polt will be there as well. And as much as I enjoy seeing Polt go up against all this North American talent, Nate, I really wonder if he's capable of holding its own. when he's surrounded by those Caspa monsters. Because
Those
that's gonna
Caspa
be
players, man.
that's gonna be a great event.
It just reminds me of the last time people were like, you know, hey, he doesn't play versus Caspa players ever. It's like, there's no way he can win. That was Tasia in IEM Shenzhen. And then he was like, no, actually, I'm Tasia. I don't know if you've heard. But he had a fantastic run, of course, before winning the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see. But Polt's going to come in here and he's going to scout this very fast factory build from MajOr. MajOr loves these builds. I love these builds. These are, I think, the go-to build. This is the go-to opener for many Terran players. And I'd say that I don't know if I've seen a TvT series in the last year that didn't have at least one player bust this out once or twice.
Well, I wouldn't want to go that far, as I've guessed quite a few TvTs
I don't know, man. This
I know. You see it super often. I would definitely say 99 out of 100 times, but I also think I've guessed it around 500 TvTs.
That's true. Maybe like Happy versus Maro, there might have been like I think
maybe on like an Altazim Stronghold where you just see them both.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
See, that's why I would go guess first, because you wouldn't expect it on that map.
Either way, Reaper is on the way for MajOr. This Reaper will be able to hop into the main base over here.
Reaper's super abnormal. Almost never really done. It's not really a thing to go Reaper off of gas first, but this is the second time I think I've seen it. And I think the first time might have been from MajOr as well. But it just gives you an unusual amount of scouting for a gas first build that I guess you don't normally expect, but
we got another tweet incoming as well. This time I can pronounce the username or the Twitter handle, as it's Euro_cat. Says, go Polt, you better qualify. I think he wants to see Polt in Toronto. I also think that if Polt wouldn't make it out of this tournament, which I would say right now is a little bit unlikely, as he's going to have 2 shots in doing so. Even if he doesn't make it against MajOr, he will still have the loser bracket, but it's always possible. Polt can always still decide to go to the main event himself and play in the open bracket.
Look at this Hellion going for a drive-by. He gets all the scouting.
He gets the shooting as well.
He shouldn't be able to
get a Hellion.
Wow.
An SUV, excuse me. He's still alive.
Considering how few hit points are on that Hellion, there's no reason it should have killed anything. Rest in peace.
That was an actual drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
Just drove by, then he started shooting. Killed 1 casualty.
I mean, I still dream of a world where Hellions can attack while moving. Legacy of the Void. Make it happen.
Like Phoenixes?
Yeah, man. Every unit should be able to do that. Maybe not Marines. I can think of a couple. I can think of a lot of units that if they could attack while moving would be like really sick.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And they're all Terran.
Reaper does escape, but not a good scout for MajOr in the main base. So far, 2 SUVs have fallen. That is pretty much everything that went down. Now we're going to keep a close eye in the main base of MajOr. You said it already, Nate. 99 out of 100 times we will see Polt open up with Bioplay. He plays mech very rarely. He's actually going to pick up his 8 Marines, Nate. He's going to try to make something happen over here, but there is no second command center yet for MajOr, so it's kind of hard to really catch him off guard over here. There's the Raven, there is a bunker. The bunker is so important now.
He actually killed the SCV building Polt's command center, I think, just now with his
with the Reaper. It's a great move. As all the units are out of position, Polt is still going to drop on top of this. I'm not sure how I feel about that, Nate. Actually, there are no Marines in the bunker.
Yeah, auto turret's nice. Widowmine's going to burrow. I think he lands the Viking, and then you can basically chew through the rest of these forces with the range.
Yeah, I think MajOr will be alright. He needs to buy a little bit of time. Oh, and needs to protect his mineral line as well, though.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a few Hellion shots to actually kill off these workers.
Repair the Viking!
He's still denying any building of that command center in the natural for Polt. So, oh yeah, you don't want to step on that Viking because there's a Widow Mine right there too.
Oh, this one Hellion is actually doing some serious work. The Viking is still alive, but not before this Hellion is getting 7 kills. Can get the Viking as well. He doesn't get the Viking, but it was close.
Yeah, so that was very scary indeed. Polt had to land his Viking in order to kill that Reaper.
So in the end, Polt got 6 SCVs there, which I feel is okay against the 1-base Terran.
But Polt's command center, should be done right now. It should be like halfway through turning into an orbital. So he got it delayed a lot, and that was very nice for him because I feel like if Polt had finished that command center and had it already going, he'd be in such a really great spot that I'd be actually a lot more worried for MajOr than I am right now. But as these Hellions move across the map, quick update: Puck and Suppy are now 1-1. He kills that Widow Mine.
Now this Banshee, which has Cloak as well, is going to make its way across the map. There is a missile turret actually in both mineral lines already. But
delaying that command center even more.
And he can also delay the reinforcements, the SCVs that are going to try to scream down. He needs to throw down a scan. Otherwise,
Yeah, he still kills a few Marines, but delaying that command center even more. Now the command centers are basically finishing at the same time.
Really good move there, and also a smart move by Polt to immediately throw down the scan. Otherwise, the SCVs that would make their way down to the low ground, trying to finish up that command center, would have just died one by one with that Banshee idling over here on the hold position. So he was forced to throw down the scan. Could have been a mule. Would have rather had a mule, of course, but the scan was necessary.
Yeah, this has been a very interesting game. I feel like Polt had a couple of really nice things going for him, and then suddenly MajOr, he's making some nice moves here. These Hellions want to run up. They tag some Marines, but he trades out. He loses one of his Hellions. Not super fun.
Already has 2 tanks now as well. I have the feeling that MajOr is indeed gonna try to siege up over here. Something we see very, very often in this matchup. He could also try the front, but
I'd like the front at this point. There's just not a lot for Polt. That tank is in a horrible position at the moment. Polt can move that tank down. He's gonna have a second tank very soon. But the problem is air superiority, because there's 2 Vikings and a Raven, which means a point defense drone. So Polt's going to build 2 Vikings right now, but 3 Vikings versus 2 with a point defense drone is not a fight that the 3 Vikings are going to win.
MajOr did. I mean, you already said it so many times there, but it was so important that MajOr delayed that command center multiple times, because while MajOr was focusing on his infrastructure and getting units out, Polt was supposed to rely on a superior economy, but in the end that wasn't really the case.
He's got a medevac. He's going to try to elevator and block the ramp off with tanks.
He can drop other turrets as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this stim.
He might even cancel Stim.
Stim is so close. Stim is the most exposed tech lab over here. The Raven is on the ramp as well, so the Raven's going to see. He could drop a Seeker missile.
Yeah, select C-point defense drone. Okay, now he's lost one of his Vikings. Auto turrets. Okay, he loses his air control, which is nice, but he does cancel Stim. And actually, one of his barracks might even get blown up at this point. That'd be kind of awkward. Banshee's still close.
Banshee's gonna work on these tanks.
There's a scan, but he hasn't scanned yet. If he kills these tanks off, that's all the range support that Polt really has. And the tank does stay alive.
Oh
just barely 2 hit
2
points.
HP.
Cancels the tech lab again.
Look at this Marine. This Marine can go forward. He's gonna get the tank.
Oh, he's gonna try to be a hero.
All of them are gonna try to be heroes. So this time the tank will live. And all of these
Marines die here. Natural is being breached as well, though. This is still really awkward. Good scan. Picks off a few more Marines. MajOr's been doing work, man. He is doing work, and he's adding on barracks back home. MajOr's got his stim on the way. Polt hasn't even started stim. Polt, your command center that you're going to research stim off is burning down?
You could actually... No, never mind. He can. Still, the good hold there by Polt as well. That could have been a lot worse, Nate. And he even got a little bit unfortunate there, I felt. But in the end... I actually got a little bit fortunate with the tank staying alive and then also being able to repair it. Still, good hold, good execution by MajOr on the attack, I feel. Good Banshee move. I would have loved to see MajOr be a little bit more or I would say, I wouldn't say careless, but I mean the opposite. What's the opposite of careless, Nate?
Careless, be
careful.
Be cautious.
Or cautious, indeed. With that Raven, because I felt if he indeed would have kept his units alive,
that Raven could have made a bigger play.
Yeah, that Raven just dumped all of his energy immediately.
Oh my God, he's gonna have stim soon too. This army, how many tanks does Polt have? Just 2? I don't like this one bit. He actually could almost just.
He's going to see it though. That's really important.
He could try to bum rush this. Like he doesn't have a bunker or anything. He doesn't have any more tanks. Polt.
I mean, it's always risky to.
Yeah, Polt's pulling his tanks back. He's trying to hold on. Oh, does he think that he's going to attack the back?
Oh, I think
no, he's going for the front, man.
God. Polt is trying to make a read here that doesn't exist. He's trying to put his tanks in a good position.
MajOr stim is done in 10 seconds. He could actually just stim, run up this ramp, siege his tanks, and cancel. He could maybe lift off the natural, kill the workers here. This is really bad. He's just going to try an elevator? I guess that's one way to do it. I guess it's...
Oh my God, Polt is still completely unaware of this army. He will get a medevac for his efforts. Might get the second one. He gets 2 medevacs before this all starts.
That should tell him that something's up. And the medevac of MajOr is almost picked off too. There's a Marine just walk right into it.
Yep.
That's not what he wanted. Marines getting killed trying to go up this ramp. Well. And there's Marines in his mineral line just killing SCVs left and right. MajOr is up 40 supply against Polt right now.
I don't even know how Polt is supposed to engage this. I don't think you can.
Yeah, this natural is so exposed. Stim's the Marines. He's running forward. Tanks
Stim is still not ready. Stim is still not ready.
These tanks, first tank down for Polt, second Polt tank down, and now it's just Marines and SCVs fighting versus siege tanks, and that is not a fight that Polt can win. His tank on the high ground getting taken out as well. One more. Look, all these Marines just run in, blown to pieces.
GG is called, and MajOr, our Mexican Terran player takes a 2-0 lead over Polt off the back of just a really cool, really flawless TvT game on King Sejong Station. I feel he did almost everything right, Nate.
MajOr,
Almost everything right.
MajOr is playing on another level today. I'm really impressed. MajOr is one game away from qualifying for the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto over Polt, of all players.
And he had such a difficult bracket as well. MajOr went up against Soppy in the first round, TVZ. Then he went up against Huck in the second round, the TVP. And now he's playing Polt in the third round. It's a TvT series. It's a best of 5. He's not done yet, though, because we always talk about Polt comebacks, and we know that he's one of the greatest comeback kings in the world. So MajOr is definitely not there yet. But Nate, you can talk to the people at home. If you're a Terran and you're playing like a best of series and you're up 2-0, how much freedom do you feel in game number 3 and even in game number 4?
There's a lot of crazy builds that MajOr could pull out now, but and the thing is, like I said, TvT is just so much about openers, and that opener didn't really favor MajOr. He made it work. That Reaper, like I said, it's not something that you typically see. It's very uncommon out of a gas first build to go for Reaper, but he made that Reaper do an incredible amount of work, like I said, killing the SCV, bullying the command center. That command center...
Not once, but twice.
Yeah, he killed maybe like 3 or 4 total workers that tried to get to it, too. And I think in a Terran versus Terran match, that is just incredibly important because MajOr's command center finished about 15 seconds behind Polt's. MajOr's command center started about 2.5 minutes after Polt started. It just took such a ridiculously long time for Polt to finish it because MajOr brought that pressure, and that's really high level play.
And that set him up for that first attack that cancelled Stim and just overall got him in a pretty okay position. A lot of mining time was lost once more, and it was just all possible because, once more MajOr was focusing on units while Polt was supposedly focusing on economy, but then he never really got the economy that he wanted and got it going for himself because that command center was so incredibly delayed. Either way, sick plays by Juan. He needs to win one more game, and then he is going to be the first North American to make it out of this qualifier today. I believe. Who won the Canadian qualifier? Was it Massa won, right? So Massa.
Yes.
Massa's already qualified for the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto main event by winning their national qualifiers. IEM always has one slot reserved for the hosting nation. That was a surprising victory, by the way, for Massa.
Yeah, he made a pretty deep run. I think he actually beat Scarlet, right?
He beat like everybody.
Yeah, he beat everybody.
He beat everybody.
I guess that's one way to put it.
I think in the final series of the day, he beat Kane.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Both
players are ready, and we are going to fire up game number 3. Yeah, that was a pretty sick series. Like, Kane had a massive economy, but then Massa just had like 175 supply of bio army. And Kane is like, well, I have a bunch of ultras, but by the time that they reached the army, everything died. And then Massa just won with the one push that he had left.
Yeah.
Either way, will we have our second North American Terran player qualifying for the main event? Well, I guess in a way we have, but of course, MajOr is a little bit more North American than Polt is. Game number 3 is going to be played on Foxtrot Labs. And I can't wait to see what craziness we will see. And if Juan is able to close out the series, will he finally be able to get his sweet revenge on Polt for all the times that Polt has defeated him over the last few months? It would definitely feel like justice is served. Because a couple of times, MajOr did get very close to winning.
Yeah, I am actually just blown away completely that the results right now are 2-0. If MajOr wins this game, MajOr getting a 3-0 over Polt, like this is almost...
That's huge.
Yeah, this is almost the point where if you told me that this is going to happen, I'm not even a betting man. I would take a bet against MajOr beating Polt 3-0. Like, that's how confident I am that this would never happen. And it's still not quite there yet, but man, just getting here to this position is nuts.
And he has so many small moves in all of his games that look so good, and it almost looks too good to be calculated, but I have the feeling it is. It's like, the small things like the Reaper speaking in and picking off that command center multiple times and having the Banshee in a good position. The Banshee also flying in right before the command center finishes up. A few things might come together as a little bit of luck, but in the end, MajOr is just executing his builds very, very well.
Yeah, he's just not really making a lot of mistakes. He's going to open up gas first again, and...
Of course, MajOr is going up against the absolutely fantastic Terran player spawning in the right bottom side of the map. Just because he lost two games in a row doesn't mean that he's suddenly a no-name. He's still one of the most legendary players in a beautiful game. Cooler Master Storm's Polt.
Yep. And of course, we see this tweet from Orana Manasi. That was very impressive from MajOr. but Polt is the comeback king.
It's
and
true,
that's
man.
true.
We've said it so many times, and it wouldn't be the first time in Polt's career that he turns an 0-2 around. Even though, you know, the comeback thing is more from Polt being down in a game, but still finding his way back, rather than actually like turning a series around. But I'm sure that Polt has turned series around in his career as well. I can't really remember a series where Polt was down 0-2 and then still won 3-2. Nothing really jumps to mind.
No, nothing quite pops out. It's usually, like you said, the in-game comebacks.
Yeah,
but
those plenty will come to mind.
oh yeah, indeed. He's got this SCV and he sees what Major's up to, but it's like, how do you really respond to this? He's gonna do that Reaper again, and this I agree with more on this map especially. Like this map is just so well set up for Reapers, Reaper little scouting, little Reaper pokes. It's quite nice. It is quite nice.
This is like a Facebook like reverse. I just noticed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the thumb.
Yep.
Reminds me of what was it called in the book Holes? You ever read Holes before?
Yep.
There's like a mountain and it looked like a thumb, and they called the mountain God's thumb.
Okay, today I learned. Where is it, Nate?
It's actually probably not too far from here. It's in the desert of Arizona.
Ah, it's in the Grand Canyon.
I don't know if it's quite that close, but I believe it was in that range.
I still have to go to the Grand Canyon once, but every single time on my way there I stop in Vegas and I lose all my money. I have to go home again.
It's like, well, I can't afford the tour now.
Nope, can't afford the tour. Gonna come back next time. It's just if there was only a way to get there without going to Vegas. Reaper takes a lot of damage, might actually fall, and it will fall.
Considering how much work the Reaper did the last game, that's actually a pretty big loss, this map.
Yep. Major's gonna peek in the front now as well with his Hellion. Would have been, ooh, has to be careful. Man, takes so much damage as well on this one. So finally, things are opening up very okay for Polt over here. Catching a small break. The Polt is going for a pretty identical opening to what he did on King Sejong Station. This time there is no bunker to keep the Marines alive, at least not yet. There's also so much surface area in the main base that it's very easy to... I don't think you really want to wall off. Like, do you really want to start your ramp over here all the way? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of space though for a drop. Update: Suppy has actually beaten Puck. That's really impressive.
I find that really impressive as well. So Puck, one of the favorites for this qualifier in my opinion, already eliminated. It's very good news of course for Suppy and all the G fans out there that he advances. And I really do love me some Suppy. It's a great victory for him against such a strong opponent like Puck.
Really big win. Really big win for Suppy. And this Banshee for Major is out. This actually could do a lot of work because the Hellions are going to take permanent real damage in this case.
Yeah,
like
that really helps.
You don't have any workers out here to help repair them.
But there's still no bunker this time. I'm very worried for Major. I think Major might end up losing a ridiculous amount of units unless these Marines just get dropped one by one and die one by one. Cloak is about to finish up, so that's something that
Major's a little bit supply block too, because one of his Marines isn't building. His siege tank has not actually started. Like, it's cute. Yeah, sure, he's trying to build it, but it's not actually building. And he's going to start his command center now. Polt has actually just started his command center as well. There's the drop.
Yeah, actually, in the
this
end.
Banshee actually pushing these Hellions away on the right side is pretty much a game saver.
Yeah, Major has bought enough time for himself, but above all, he also opened up with Cloak Banshees that have only been defensive so far. And in general, you don't really get Cloak to be defensive.
I will say, like, it may not seem like much, but this is a situation where I've won and lost a lot of games just because you try to catch that medevac drop or Banshee, and if they get up and they catch your Marines lined up, then suddenly you can lose the game in an instant if all those Marines get fried. This Banshee, the natural, delays the command center.
Yeah, it took a lot of damage though. Immediately, kind of flew straight into the missile turret head first.
Yeah,
it's painful.
Don't want to headbutt a missile turret as a Banshee. They're not that strong.
No, they're actually kind of flimsy. They look flimsy as well. Very cartoony. Either way, Major does have his first tank out, like you mentioned, Nate. It took a little longer than it was supposed to. I would love to see him use the Marines to immediately snipe the medevac, move forward, attack, move. Doesn't get it.
Still worth. Still got a lot of those Marines out, which is quite nice. The Hellions don't really have any utility left, and keeping the Banshee alive is going to make any follow-up tank pressure that he does very difficult to stop. But it's also going to give him an opportunity to have a defensive edge. Because at the end of the day, all these openers have ended with Major just a little bit ahead in supply. And all these Hellions want to pick off a few Marines.
Yeah, 1 or 2 shots could be super juicy as all the Marines were lined up.
Yeah, I think you just saw that medevac load up, but We'll have to see. Both
No,
players are going into bio again, it seems as well.
I also feel that Foxtrot Labs is one of the maps that's played the least of the new map pool. You know, I've seen so many games on Catalina already, starting to see more and more of Nimbus. I wonder how much TvT these two guys have played on Foxtrot Labs, and I think it would be quite possible for one of them to get surprised one way or the other by the way the map is designed. Obviously, they have played games on it by now, but it's not the same as playing another TvT on Overgrowth.
Yeah, I love this. He wants them to drop into the main base. This is so annoying to deal with because he's pressing the natural. Oh, Polt's army is coming back to deal with the drop. His natural is open. Major, what are you going to do? Oh, he's going to siege the tanks on the low ground here. He can actually deny one of these refineries, and he's got his Banshee trying to attack as well. Of course, there's a missile turret here, but those Marines are still in the main base, going absolutely ham. Does force the medevac lift up, but he's denying some gas mining. He's going to kill a worker or two here. Point defense drone. So his Viking is actually going to kill one of Polt's Vikings.
It's getting repaired. Very smart move there by Polt. That's one way to deal with the PDD.
That's one way. Still really annoying because the Banshee can pick off a few more SCVs in the midst of all of this.
One more PDD. Not enough energy.
Not enough energy. This is still really, really good for Major. And now this bunker, he's going to siege this bunker up. I'd like to see him continue to be adventurous with this Banshee before the energy on it runs out.
Yeah, he could actually send it to the main base. There's no missile turret over here, Nate.
Yeah, well, I mean, cloak energy is just about gone, but... Oh, wow! Polt, his tanks aren't pre-sieged. The closer he inches to this, the better. And now this Banshee, yeah, he's running. He's like, okay, I'm out of energy. Can't go too much closer. It's all about the vision. It's all about the vision at this point. Like, he really doesn't want to lose this. I don't know if I'm going to put an auto turret there. It's just going to die. Yeah, it's going to immediately die.
That's a lot of energy.
I would have preferred even a Seeker missile, or like if you put the auto turrets behind the mineral line, would have done a lot more.
Or just put a single PDD down, because even the single Viking is going to have some time, or is going to have some issues dealing with a single PDD. It's going to take a long time.
It looks like Major has a little bit more Marine production right now than Polt, but Polt is starting a third command center. And Major's been cranking out.
Does Major have any idea that this army is currently being traced?
Yeah, you can see. I think you see the Vikings following you, and you're immediately going to start to worry, because these Marines, if they attack the Vikings, they're going to see it.
Okay, he saw the medevac there as well, so I think that Major has a good idea now that Polt's army was indeed trailing right behind him. There's another drop in the main base. He actually cancels the Rexes from being produced. All of these SUVs are super exposed. Major, I have no idea how you're finding the openings.
He's going to kill a reactor if he cancels Stim. If he cancels Polt's Stim.
But Major needs prioritizing it yet.
Yeah, Major needs to save his natural. This is like he's about to have his base locked down.
He's winning this fight though. He could start working on the tech lab. He's gonna just focus on the SUVs.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, but I mean, even that is gonna be quite nice. Yeah, he's gonna lose this refiner, but that's not even a big deal. He's gonna get this tech lab as
well. He cancels
No Stim.
Oh my God!
Stim is about to finish.
If Major cleans up this army, I think that he might be able to win 3-0 over Polt over here. All the Marines are very clumped up though. This is well, is it good enough, Nate?
I don't think so. He's gonna lose most of his tanks.
Banshee.
The Vikings are still. Oh, the Banshee! Hero Banshee's gonna pick off the tanks. This is exactly what Major needed. If he kills it, he gets it with the final
shot.
So his natural is secured. Polt can no longer push into Major's base. He still has that medevac. One Marine escapes.
Just
one
pump
survivor.
out Marines now, right? Just pump out Marines, and you have Stim. You have upgrades.
He's got Stim. What do you? There's not much that can be done. Polt needs to do a drop. Polt needs to get a drop in to Major's base as soon as possible, because Major, if you're Major, all you want to do is just get a couple units out and go attack. Just beat the crap out of your opponent, because there should not be any way that Polt wins without Stim in a shit fight. Look how many resources Polt's banking. He hasn't been able to produce Marines because his barracks got canceled, because he lost his add-ons, he lost his reactors.
And they got delayed as well for the longest amount of time. Really good job.
Queue up 5 supply depots. Have fun.
I'm actually surprised that with the amount of SUVs that Major killed, that he's not up more workers. The 16 SUVs did go down during the drop in the main base.
It's Polt's third command center. Major never got a third command center in this game.
Alright, so he's producing 3 at a time. That's, of course, an excellent way to catch up.
Another drop is in the main base, though. He's going to pick up units. He's just going to focus on the next Stim Tech Lab.
He's going to focus on the tank
first.
Instead.
Tank is good, too. He's just going to kill units. He's like, yeah, man, you want to bring your SCVs out to have fun with that. And, yeah, I guess getting the Tech Lab was going to be asking for a bit much, but he's certainly getting... It's hard for him not to be efficient. If he would have kept those Marines
closer to each other, I think he would have been able to trade even a lot better.
Yeah,
but
look at these.
Still
2 Tech Labs started up on these barracks again. I mean, reactors. But, like, this is just delaying Polt's production by so much. Major is going to just blow forward in supply.
Yep, the upgrade tab pretty much tells the entire story so far of the state of this game. Major has 4 upgrades. Polt has absolutely none.
Now Major is ready to make it happen.
Yeah, well, he still has a window, Nate. It's 70 seconds away until Stim is ready and a solid, 70 seconds as well for Combat Shield. So it's about even for both of those upgrades. If MajOr can get a fight with Stim and Combat Shield, and above all +1 as well, as he's ahead in that too. Like, this is pretty much the moment. Is he down in Marines? I think a few.
Oh, if he scans and sees these tanks aren't sieged, honestly, he could just bum rush this. Like,
yeah, I think he should. This is the moment, though. If there's ever a moment.
Yeah. Oh, the Doom drop. This is actually, I think this is an okay play too. The main base isn't really that well covered.
Tech lapse. Imagine if he gets the tech lapse again.
Oh man, if he canceled Stim again, I don't even know, man.
There is one missile turret. That's a little bit dangerous, but here we go. MajOr is up 2-0. Is he gonna get the Stim? Stim is 10 seconds away from finishing. 9, 8, 7. He's not focusing the right one. It's gonna finish.
Okay, Stim will finish for Polt. So that he's got that going for him, which is nice, but there's still 4 tanks in a good spot in his main base. And I love that MajOr's bringing his Marines closer. He wants to fight Marine versus Marine. He needs to target fire these big clumps, though. Some of these tanks are taking the natural. Okay, now he's target firing. The Marines for MajOr in Polt's base have been cleaned up. The medevacs are still here. He's going to boost them out, but he's taking out so much more supply of Polt. Polt has 8 Marines. MajOr's got 37. Look at this army he has back home.
So the next wave, that's the most important one. MajOr is still up 40 supply. Our Mexican Terran player is playing out of his mind.
I don't believe it, Roddy.
He has defeated the Zerg. He has defeated the Protoss. Now, this is one way to show that you deserve to qualify for a tournament, Nate. If you win all 3 matchups against, in my opinion, 3 of the strongest players in this region in the respective matchups. Here we go, MajOr with another wave of Marines, and he's going to do what we thought no foreign Terran could ever do. Or at least definitely not a North American foreign Terran.
He's gonna 3-0 Polt. These Marines are moving down. His tanks are covering him in the back. SCVs pulled off the line. Not very effective versus siege tanks, Rotterdam.
Really cool victory here for Juanito, who came pretty close to defeating Polt multiple times in the last few months. But it was always, he almost got it, Nate, and we often said he's just like, MajOr's really good. He's just not able to close it out. This time it is going to be different. MajOr will win this series, as he's currently up almost 6. He's doubling the army supply of Polt. He's doubling the workers of Polt. He's doubling everything.
Yep. He's got Marines in that third base picking off all of these mules, and Polt's gonna try to break this position one last time with 3 siege tanks and this many Sim Marines. It's not gonna happen. Moving into the natural. Polt is doing everything. He is fighting tooth and nail, but there's nothing left. There's nothing left to fight for him. These Marines, MajOr can simply afford to produce too many forces, and it's going to be slow, because Polt's got good tank control. He has good tank positioning, but now the natural is taking fire. Now the natural command center is taking fire from MajOr's tanks, and at this point, this means all Polt can do is dive headlong into this tank line, and he's going to trade out most of his Marines in order to break this, and he's not even going to break it. That's got to be it. Polt's going to hang in here for a little bit longer, but MajOr just has too much production, I think, to be shattered anytime soon.
Yes, he is. Well, Polt will hang in there a little bit longer. He is the comeback king in games, Nate, but, we often say this. Yes, comebacks are awesome, comebacks are possible, but
it can't be possible to come back from this.
20 SCVs, 15 Marines down. MajOr is knocking on his front door once again. We'll pick up one of the 2 last remaining tanks. Polt still sort of hanging in there, but actually he's going to stabilize for now. But now the reinforcements have arrived, and this has to be it. Double the army supply, or double the supply, literally, SCVs being pulled. Doesn't matter, MajOr's going to do it once again, Nate. He's been struggling against Polt over the last few months. He has defeated him in the past once during an Intox Remastered Sao Paulo qualifier. But the last few months, Polt definitely had his number. But this time, Nate, it's been all MajOr.
Yeah, Polt. Polt is, he's reaching for that fantasy GG timing at this point. It's kind of funny that he's been holding off. It's mostly like the distance on this map that the rally is kind of made it so that MajOr's fighting him wave after wave, but MajOr's going to slow things down a little bit. He's saying, yeah, I have the economic advantage. I've got the supply lead. I just need to keep moving forward.
When you defeat Polt in a game like this, it must feel so satisfying, because you know you're winning, but you also know it's Polt, and you also know that it's always possible that he somehow comes back. So you're going to have to sweat for it till the bitter end. But 140 supply in Polt's natural. If this is not going to do it, Nate, I don't know what will.
Yeah, 140 supply, don't lie, Roddy. That's all I have to say about that. Natural command center's under fire.
The hips of these Marines don't lie either. And their guns.
Yep. Tanks are going to siege up. He's just focusing down this command center. He's like, okay, Marine's dead. GG. MajOr 3-0s Polt, and he's the first player here to qualify for the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto. I don't have words. I
No,
would not have called in
a million years.
Million years now.
Super impressive by MajOr. Absolutely phenomenal performance throughout the entire day. He made it look easy versus Soppy and Huck. And we know that Soppy is one of the best Zergs in North America. I'd probably put him top 3, if not top 5. Huck is, according to many, the best Protoss in North America. I'd probably agree with it. Huck and Puck are about even, if you ask me. MajOr defeated them both, made it look relatively easy. Then he went up against Polt, and well, we thought, like, that's going to be really difficult. Well, I'm sure that it was difficult, but it didn't look all that difficult for MajOr. He looked on fire, and it's awesome to welcome MajOr, the North American Terran hailing from Mexico, to the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto main event. Well-deserved victory, Nate. That's really all there is to it.
Mind-blowingly good games. That's really just something else. I don't know if I have too much else to say about it, because really, MajOr just did everything right. He made opportunities. He made his opportunities that he found work, and that's all I got, man. MajOr, I'm just super impressed. Definitely earned it against a player like Polt. That's just not supposed to happen.
Yeah, just to go over it one more time. The last 3 times they've played against each other, we casted all 3 series. Polt won 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. But those games were actually a lot closer than they sounded, because I remember multiple times that like MajOr had a great lead in game 1 or even in game 2 as well, and then Polt was still able to close it out and winning. And even after the broadcast, we'd be talking with each other. It's like, man, like MajOr's really good. He's getting so close, but he's just never really able to close it out.
Yeah.
Today it was different. After losing in WCS America, losing in the Battlegrounds North America qualifier, and also losing in the Battlegrounds North America main event, he has finally done it. He has got his event, and he also did it earlier this year when he defeated Polt in a Sao Paulo qualifier. Back then it was 3-1, now it is 3-0. So overall in maps, they're 6 and 7 in the last 2 best of 5s and 3 best of 3s.
That's pretty sick.
6 and 7, pretty evenly matched. Either way, guys, we're going to take a very small commercial break, and after that we'll be back with our second deciding semifinal. So that means that the winner of this series will also qualify for the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto main event. It's going to be a ZVZ between Scarlet and Violet. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.